WDBFradio.com. WDBFradio.com. WDBFradio.com.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high-quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
Hi folks, I'm Roger from Rogers Gotcha Motoring. If you need a local auto repair shop, Rogers Gotcha Motoring will take care of all of your automotive repair needs. If you need something as simple as an oil change or as complex as an engine overhaul, I have the latest in technology and the knowledge to get the job done right. We've been servicing Pinellas County since 1994 and are conveniently located at 3700 5th Avenue North in St. Petersburg, Florida. If you need service, call now at 727-327-1830 or visit my website at www.rogersgotchamotoring.com or like my Facebook page at Rogers Gotcha Motoring for a complete list of all of our services. So come on over to Rogers, that's me, and get your car service today. And don't forget to shop and support local business. Call now to book your appointment at 727-327-1830. That's 727-327-1830, or swing on by.
Que Pasa Mexican Cantina is where friends and neighbors come to connect, share, and celebrate one another in a festive, casual atmosphere. Offering rich, robust flavors of authentic Mexican cuisine, we use only the freshest, finest ingredients. We chop and dice, season and blend, and then cook everything we serve to perfection. One thing that makes Mexican food even better is one of our delicious Best of the Bay margaritas. Our signature series of margarita flavors range from our sweet and fruity mango and strawberry to our hot and juicy jalapeno margarita. Having a busy meeting or getting together and looking for Mexican food? Try our Fast Fax form. It's an easy, fast way to order your favorite Mexican food. We have special platters and layouts for any occasion. The form is super easy to fill out, fax, email, or just call it in. Whether it's here in the restaurant, in your home or office, at Que Pasa we celebrate bringing people together. Que Pasa Mexican Cantina, 10478 Roosevelt Boulevard, North Street in the Gateway Shopping Center, 727-330-3663 in St. Petersburg.
Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Hey, this is Captain Hook for Statewide Pest Control Services. They've been serving the west coast of Florida since 1987. Statewide does it all. Pest control, termites, lawns, mosquitoes, tent fumigations, etc. This announcement is from their mold division. Since Hurricane Charlie in 2004, all their personnel are certified in mold and moisture control. Their two-step services are guaranteed to get you back in your home quicker and in most cases paid by your insurance company. Give them a call at 877-488-7378. That's Statewide Pest Control Services for all your pest and mold control needs, serving Florida from Pasco to Lee counties. Statewide Pest Control Services, 877-488-7378. 877-488-7378. That's 877-488-7378. You're listening to WDBFradio.com, a tune-in station.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. on the WDBF Radio Network. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
Good morning, everyone. It is another beautiful morning, and this morning is a little different for me because I am on the west coast of Florida instead of being on the east coast of Florida, and I am enjoying what a beautiful day that we have out here. And this morning I've got the one and only Pam Worth. She's one of the top female kayak anglers here in Florida. Always an honor and a privilege to have you with me. Good morning, Pam.
Good morning. Well, thank you so much for that lovely introduction. Yeah, first sunny day we've had, it seems like, in a week.
Yeah, she pulls up with her kayak, and she's telling me how she missed a turn because she was adoring the water instead of looking at where she was supposed to turn this morning. So it looks like there's a strong possibility you may be out there this morning, huh?
It could be right after the show. I got my fishing clothes in the car and kayaks there.
My kind of girl. She's ready to go, I'm telling you. And I guess that's why she's one of the top female anglers here in Florida. And a big thank you to Captain Hook for allowing us the usage of his studio. He won't be able to answer us this morning because he's busy doing the producing thing. But a big thank you to you, Captain Hook. We appreciate you doing what you do. So this morning we've got guests as we normally have. We're going to have Robert Warner from Florida Fisherman Magazine. We're going to have Carolyn with Atlas Tracks. And we're going to have a new guest this morning, Lisa Fitzgerald. Lisa is with the CCA Florida Star. She's going to tell us a little bit about what they do. And then we'll have, of course, we'll have the Sikoras, either Andy or Kyle. And to finish it off today, we're going to have Dennis Michaelek, and he's going to give us a fishing report, a local fishing report off of the East Coast. So don't go away because we're certainly not going anywhere. And we've got a lot to share with you this morning. So, Pam, if you would, let's start off by what did you do over the weekend so far?
Well, what did I do? I went inshore grouper fishing. Most people think on the West Coast that you've got to go out 20, 30, 40, right. 50 miles. Nope. I was east of the Skyway and ended up getting some really nice grouper. Went out with Captain Tom Charlton. So it was the one time I absolutely was not in my kayak because we were kind of scouting. I hadn't been that area and I wanted to see how far I would have to paddle to go catch them. Mm-hmm. And we got a number of them, nice ones, right around 27. The biggest obstacle, and I'm going to warn people again, please don't feed dolphin. Biggest obstacle we had, dolphin didn't hit our baits. They hit the grouper on the way up.
Wow. And
you're fighting a grouper, pulling it up, almost get it to the boat, see it. All of a sudden your rod doubles over and we had these reels locked down just because you wanted to pull the grouper up fast. Yep. It's pulling drag.
Oh my goodness.
And it was busted like 100-pound line tied to an 80-pound leader. Wow. The dolphin busted that off.
Wow. Now, when you say dolphin, you're talking about bottlenose dolphin,
I'm
right?
talking about flipper.
Yeah, because I've noticed on this side of the state, because I spent some time on this side of the state when I was in the Air Force up in the Panhandle, and I noticed that they would come right into the bay. I mean, literally into 3 or 4 foot water.
Oh yeah.
So it's not like on the other side. I don't see that on the other side like I see it over here.
This is a great estuary. So yes, the dolphin are in there, tons of fish. They're feeding. We have a lot of whitebait or threadfins out there. So yeah, they'll come in, they'll scare mullet and follow mullet up to a foot or so of water just to get them together and be able to corral them.
I'm shocked at how shallow that, I see it on this side, but I don't see it on the other side. I am shocked at how shallow they will go. Now you mentioned Skyway. You're talking about the bridge?
Yes, sir.
And so you were down in the middle of the bridge, off to the one side, or?
We were fishing off the channel. Mm-hmm. There's a big channel that runs through there that all the tankers go through, that's man-made. So obviously they have to have debris. The average, I'd say, depth of the bay is around 20 to 40 feet, maybe. Mm-hmm. So near the channel. So the channel's a lot deeper. It's going 50, 60 feet. So you're fishing off that ledge, right next to the ledge. And that's where you're dropping your baits because that's where they're sitting there.
And you were able to pull up a couple of them?
Yeah, we got a couple really nice ones. Got some nice mangrove snapper, a bunch of grunts.
So let's go just a moment down the road for a second. When you catch one of these, it's like you caught a grouper. How did you fix that up?
Oh, we filleted it out, and then last night I took a piece of foil, took the fillet, kind of rubbed it in with a little bit of lemon juice, patted that off, put the fillet down, threw my redfish blackened seasoning, added some butter, closed it up like a little tent, rolled it all up, put it on the grill high for about 20 minutes. It was Awesome.
And there is Pam's secret. She just shared her secret with you. So now she has one less secret.
Hey, you need to know anything. I'm an open book. Text me, text the show. You know, we'll answer your questions.
Yeah, now, normally I would say text me and I'll answer you right away. We do monitor the show when I'm in my home studio. This morning I'm not in my home studio, so if you're going to send me a text, I'm not going to be able to see it. But normally we do monitor the show on the website, fishflorida.com. You can go on there. You'll see there's a chat window. You can, if you have a question, a comment, something, you can enter it in there. I normally will pick it up and then transmit it out once I see it. Again, this morning we're not going to be able to do that because we are in the studio in Clearwater, and I don't have access to that this morning. So as we move down the road here, I believe we have Robert on the phone with us. Robert Warner with Florida Fisherman Magazine. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
We are doing pretty good, my friend. How are you?
We are doing great, other than we have a lot of green water over here. How's it over there, Pam? You got a lot of green water on that side?
No, I'm a little north of Sarasota. I know that area's had a bit of red tide, but we're north of that, so we haven't really been affected. We've had a lot of normal type of runoff out of the canal, so tarpon fishing's been down a little bit just because it's been doing nothing but raining for the last 3 days.
Yeah. Well, I guess south of you they've got it. I get reports in from Mr. Helm every day. Captain Helm over there is doing a phenomenal job of documenting the amount of algae we have coming into the rivers and the estuaries. But it's gotten out of hand, that's for sure.
You know, Robert,
I took some pictures yesterday that we put up, and you know, there's a lot of organizations out there that people probably need to take a look at. Captains for Clean Water, Save the Indian River Lagoon Group, Bull Sugar, and there's some others out there. I will actually, when we get some time later on this afternoon, I will send them over to the Fish Florida show, so you can put them on your site.
Yep.
As well as some links to some places that tell you exactly what's going on with the river and exactly how it can be fixed. But it has gotten completely out of hand. This is like the third year in a row, and it's just getting progressively worse every year, to the point where I took some pictures yesterday afternoon. It's in my neighborhood now, so.
Wow.
You know,
and it didn't normally get up into this far, but it's bad. So.
Robert, it's just,
I was watching the poor fish trying to survive, and
it's heartbreaking. It's just my personal opinion, but from what I understand and everything that you have, you know, and I want to thank you before I get to that. I want to thank you for posting some of this information. I was completely ignorant about what was going on with regard to this drainage and the damage that is done. And hopefully this is repairable damage, but at this point, these are our resources that are being literally killed off. Robert had posted a video of the Boca Grande area where a man is walking along the beach, and there is numerous fish, numerous Goliath groupers, just you name it, it's on the beach. This is really unacceptable. And Robert said something very interesting. It's getting worse. It's going to continue to get worse, ladies and gentlemen, until we voice our opinions, until we stand up for what is right. It's not right to ruin our resources. What are we leaving our children? We have a responsibility.
That's the one thing. The fact that it has gotten worse is actually possibly the cure for the problem. This was fairly localized up until about a year ago. Now it has gotten, as you saw, I posted one picture all the way down to the Boynton Inlet.
Yeah.
It's gotten down that far. It has gotten up north as far as Fort Pierce. If it gets further north than Fort Pierce, we're going to start really doing some damage to the Indian River Lagoon. So the fact that it has gotten worse is probably going to be something that makes it better. There is the entire state of Florida now involved. It's not just this local area where it was coming out every year that's involved. Now we've got people all over the Palm Beaches and all over the Treasure Coast. Congressman Brian Mast was in Washington last week. He took a bunch of kids up there to try and shame them into it. He said, you know, these kids should be out fishing. They should be out on the beach, and they can't.
Yeah.
In our area, they can't go there. They can't even be in the water in our area.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yep. So not only are we losing the resources, you can't even go to the beach for Pete's sake because of this nonsense. Now, you showed, there was a picture of a particular inlet, and I think it was Boynton Beach Inlet that was very concerning.
It was.
the water coming out of the inlet was almost black.
Correct.
And you can see this nice clear water that it's in the, we're facing the ocean at that point. The inlet comes out into the ocean. You can see the drastic difference between the water coming out and the water in the ocean. It is very, very concerning. And I would ask each one of you who are listening, please do your part and help bring this to an end. How can we do that, Robert? Do we write to the Florida Water Management
Write your
System?
local congressman, write to the FWC, write to the governor. Not that it would do much good with this one, but that's a personal opinion, of course. But write to your congressman, your local congressman. The FWC are the biggest things you can do. Your local congressman and the FWC.
Well, we have elections coming up. Is this a topic that we really need to drill down on the new governors?
Should be all over the ballot. This topic should be, whoever you're voting for, you need to know how they stand on this subject.
And it is a very touchy subject. I mean, again, anybody who knows anything about me knows my passion is kids. What are we leaving our children if we're destroying the resources around us? If you could see this picture that I saw of the Boynton Beach Inlet, the drastic difference in the color of the water coming out into the ocean. Not only that, but then reports of you can't even go to the beach because of bacteria in the beach that could cause you all kinds of infections. The longer that we remain silent, the worse this is going to become. So maybe in a way, Robert's got a good point. Because it's gotten worse, more people are aware of it now, so that now that more people are aware of it, what I need from you is to not be silent. Stand up, write a letter, send an email, a fax if you got a fax machine, but by all means don't remain silent, because I think that's what's causing a lot of our problems. If people are just kind of, okay, well that's just the way it is. No, it doesn't have to be that way. We can make a difference. And I would like to hear from anybody out there who is interested in learning more about this. You can send me an email. You can find me on Facebook, the Fish Florida Show. You can find our website, fishfloridashow.com.
They can contact me too, Riscala. Just give them my information whenever you get a chance.
Exactly.
They can contact me.
Exactly.
They can contact the magazine. We will help in any way we can. We are trying to do as much as we can, but it's not a one-person war, that's for sure.
Exactly.
It's a multi-person war, and we really need to take this to them. And they need to understand that we're done with this.
And people who don't fish are thinking, well, it's not my problem. I really don't care. But that's not true.
That's not
one of our biggest industries is tourism. Mm-hmm. And fishing is a multi-billion-dollar industry between the boats and everything else.
Yep.
You shut off the water, you shut off the fishing industry.
Real estate values.
Yeah. You shut off a lot of Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're called the Sunshine State. Why are we called the Sunshine State? Because we have a majority of our days are sunshine. And what do people do on a sunshiny day? They typically go outside. And the majority of the time that those people are visiting, tourists, where are they at? They're somewhere around the beach, because that's what we're known for. Especially on this side of the state. We have sand on this side of the state that is so white it could pass as snow if you took a picture of it. On the other side of the state, it's a little different. But my point being is that these are our resources. This is what we have to look forward to. And as long as we remain silent and allow this insanity, this is insanity, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know the political background. I don't know, what's driving it. I just know that it's insane. Look, even, one of the ways that we train animals, so if you train a dog, you can crate train a dog. And the way that works is most animals will not poop where they sleep. How is it that we're allowing this to go on in our waters? This is worse than poop. This is bacteria. This is all kinds of just insanity.
It's
this is really insanity.
Massive amounts of poop that's causing this problem.
We've got to reach out and do our part and stand up for this. This is something that is a passion of mine, because, anybody knows me knows I love kids, and this is for the kids. This is, not so much for me.
Exactly.
This is for who's coming up behind us.
Yeah, I already had my chance. I'm an older guy. I've been fishing my whole life. I had all the nice clean water. I had somebody post something yesterday that said, he's probably a 25, 26-year-old guy, said, the water's always been brown. I said, no. I said, I'm 60. And no, it has not always been brown.
Maybe for his...
it may have been brown in your lifetime, but not in mine.
Right, because it wasn't like that for me at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
Have you seen a big difference, Pam?
I have to be honest with you. We're a little blessed over here in Tampa Bay. Mm-hmm. We've taken the opposite. Since the 70s, the Bay water has improved drastically.
Wow.
Yeah, they did a lot of conservation, a lot of no motor zones, a lot of planting of seagrass. So Tampa Bay has turned around and is starting to come back. It's one of the few areas.
See, that's the big problem. This runoff that's coming out of Lake Okeechobee has killed the seagrass over here. It's killed the seagrass on the west coast where it comes out, and it's killing the oysters over here too. Yep. These are all the things that keep the water clear, and they're just destroying it all. So
it's amazing how much an oyster or a clam can turn around and filter water.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I want to thank you, Robert, because I got to, again, I want to say I'm ignorant. I wasn't completely ignorant of it, but I knew there was something going on, but I had no idea to the extent of damage that is being done to our waterways. And I would not have known that had it not been for you. So thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for putting the posts up. You can find posts under Robert Warner. You can find posts on the Fish Florida show. This is something I believe is urgent. This is not something we can put off till tomorrow. This is something that needs to be handled right away. We need to be writing our representatives, emailing them, faxing them, calling them, harassing them to a point, so that they hear what we want, so that they can catch on to what's going on. I guess
there's a new issue of the magazine coming soon, and it's going to have a great big write-up on this river situation. So
that's the Florida Fisherman Magazine. You can find them online. What's the website?
Yeah, it's www.flfishmag.com, and if they need to contact me, it's robert@flfishmag.com. And I will answer anything I can or get you in touch with people who can help you.
Robert, again, I want to thank you for taking the time to call in. I also want to thank you for putting those posts up. I want to thank you for bringing the attention to me so that I can spread the word. Have a wonderful weekend, my friend. God bless you, and we'll talk to you soon.
You too, guys.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riskella. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
Hi folks, I'm Roger from Rogers Gotcha Motoring. If you need a local auto repair shop, Rogers Gotcha Motoring will take care of all of your automotive repair needs. If you need something as simple as an oil change or as complex as an engine overhaul, I have the latest in technology and the knowledge to get the job done right. We've been servicing Pinellas County since 1994 and are conveniently located at 3700 5th Avenue North in St. Petersburg, Florida. If you need service, call now at 727-327-1830 or visit my website at www.rogersgotchamotoring.com or like my Facebook page at Rogers Gotcha Motoring for a complete list of all of our services. So come on over to Rogers, that's me, and get your car service today. And don't forget to shop and support local business. Call now to book your appointment at 727-327-1830. That's 727-327-1830. Or swing on by.
Que Pasa Mexican Cantina is where friends and neighbors come to connect, share, and celebrate one another in a festive, casual atmosphere. Offering rich, robust flavors of authentic Mexican cuisine, we use only the freshest, finest ingredients. We chop and dice, season and blend, and then cook everything we serve to perfection. One thing that makes Mexican food even better is one of our delicious Best of the Bay margaritas. Our signature series of margarita flavors range from our sweet and fruity mango and strawberry to our hot and juicy jalapeno margarita. Having a busy meeting or getting together and looking for Mexican food? Try our Fast Fax form. It's an easy, fast way to order your favorite Mexican food. We have special platters and layouts for any occasion. The form is super easy to fill out, fax, email, or just call it in. Whether it's here in the restaurant, in your home or office, at Que Pasa we celebrate bringing people together. Que Pasa Mexican Cantina, 10478 Roosevelt Boulevard North Street in the Gateway Shopping Center, 727-330-3663 in St. Petersburg. This is Fish Florida with your host, Rascala Stevens and Devin Canhine.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is the Fish Florida show. And if you're just tuning in, we have been talking about the improper drainage of water out of Lake Okeechobee into some of our rivers and our estuaries, and it is causing some damage. And we just want to make sure that people realize that as long as we remain silent about these kind of things, this is only going to get worse. So I'm asking you, as a responsible person out there, to let your voice be heard, I guess is the best way to put it. One of the other things that we suffer from here in South Florida, probably all around the United States, but it seems to be predominant here in South Florida. I don't know why. People taking things that don't belong to them. I had a report this last week that somebody had broken into a gentleman's garage. While these people were home and sleeping, somebody had broken into their garage and stolen this man's Harley. And he took pictures of, he had pictures of Harley posted up and asking people to take a look and see if they spot this thing to get back to him. So one of the guests that I asked to come on almost on a regular basis is Carolyn. She is with Atlas Tracks, and Atlas Tracks allows you the peace of mind. I guess the easiest way I can put it, it is peace of mind that you can have for minimal investment to protect your property. And I'll have her on in just a minute. But if you're just tuning in, I wanted to let you know that we are on the West Coast this morning, and we have Pam Worth with us, and we have the honor and the privilege of being with Captain Hook in his studio this morning. So thank you, Captain Hook, for reaching out and allowing us to do that. And good morning to you, Miss Pam.
Good morning. Captain Hook can't talk. We took his mic away from him, so he's speechless today.
He's having to remain silent this morning. It's really eating him up, too. He's got stuff he wants to say, but he just can't get to it.
So thank you, sir.
And I'm with you all here this morning, too.
There she is, sneaking in on us. Good morning.
I'm sneaking in on y'all. Good morning, everybody. It's sunny for a change.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I missed my turn coming here because I was looking at the water off 4th Street, and my car automatically took the 4th Street exit instead of the Featherstown exit. I'm like, oh my goodness.
I know how that is, absolutely. And then all of a sudden you go, how did I get where I am? Where am I? So, absolutely. Well, thank you for having me on the radio show again today, Rascala. I really appreciate it, and good morning to everybody. And I heard about that guy with a Harley. It's pretty frightening that someone comes into your home when you're actually in the home.
Yeah.
It makes it a little bit worse than somebody taking something out of your yard or a marina, but it is a frightful thing, for sure.
And it seems to be happening more and more.
They're not just taking boats and RTVs and airboats. They're actually coming into homes and rummaging things. Harleys, like you mentioned, I get kind of worked up about it. But, and what we do, as you know, is tracking assets and tracking family members and, things like that are, especially this holiday season, are really, really important. We're so close to the coast that we have so many families and so many boats headed to the Bahamas over the last couple of days to vacation for the week. And, they're filing float plans with us, being extra safe. So they're able to use the tracker for something other than the theft, which is a great device. Their family can watch them and make sure they get there, the guys get there all right, and then they fly in a day or two. And, it's just a lot of peace of mind for the ability to be able to find somebody.
I think that knowing that this product is available and not taking advantage of it. I think you're doing yourself a disservice. I mean, you know, most of us work really hard. Some of us work 5, 6, 7 days a week. It takes us a while to be able to buy some of this stuff. And now we have it in our possession, and somebody decides they want it more than us, and they come along and take it from our garage. And, you know, this is concerning. They're coming into people's homes now. It's no longer like Carol said, it's no longer like at a storage facility or outdoors, maybe in the backyard, out in the front yard. They're coming into homes and doing this. If you don't take the steps necessary to be able to recover whatever it is that you have that you want to protect, you're going to be disappointed, big time disappointed, because the longer whatever it is, whether that's a motorcycle, whether it's a jet ski, whether it's a boat, whether it's an aircraft, whatever that might be, the longer it's gone, the less the odds are that you're going to get it back in good shape. The faster that you can recover it, the more it is in your favor you're going to be able to get it back in good shape.
Or get it back at all.
You know, I'll tell you how easy this is too. I mean, I've made 2 house calls yesterday. The tracker's so small it fits in your hand. I actually drove them to people's houses live and actually jumped on the boats to show people good places to hide these.
Wow.
And they're live right out of the box. So there's no reason for anything that you have. You say, hey, I need one short term, I need one long term, insurance requires it. Or, hey, I have a customer, Riscali, that just rented one. He took it to the Bahamas for 5 days so his family in North Carolina could keep an eye on him. Yeah, so I'll be getting that tracker back. So, you know, it's as soon as the boat or the Harley or whatever moves 400 feet, wakes up and starts sending messages every 10 minutes. And like you said, the ability to get that back is a lot easier when you can see it's at a rest stop, or it's going down the back street, or it's running to a particular island, or it's stuck in a canal. Yep. It's real easy for law enforcement to see those latitudes, longitudes, and even a map to go with it to say, yeah, this is the gray house with the circular driveway to go get something back.
Is it water resistant?
It's waterproof, as a matter of fact. Yes. Excellent. We actually have, Pam, we have these on about 700 snow groomers. They mount them to the outside of the snowcats. They drive around in the wintertime, keeping those guys safe in the middle of the night when they're going through blizzards, and they calculate the miles that the guys have gone for reimbursement for trail grooming expenses. So yeah, it's absolutely waterproof, which is great. So, you know, if you had to take it in an emergency, grab it and take it with you. Some folks will have a couple on their boat. They'll have one that they keep permanently, and then when they go walk around the island or they jump on another friend's boat just to go fishing, they'll have another one that they keep in their ditch bag. So it's a great thought process that they come up with.
Now, these are battery operated, correct?
Yep, they run on long life lithium batteries that the customers can self-change. They're about $8 a pack, but you can hardwire them as well. So let me tell you the little benefit. If it runs off of battery, it's a little bit harder to swipe them or sweep with electronic devices to find them because they're not constantly powered. So we kind of go covert in that manner. But hardwiring is a good opportunity too if you're using your boat a heck of a lot. But in most cases, people keep them portable.
That's amazing. I think I can't believe anybody that has any type of flotation device or valuable where you can put that on there isn't taking advantage of this.
And
it's only $450 for the equipment, and we keep it easy for our math. We're like $1 a day for messaging. What is that worth? I mean, to find something of value quickly, I mean, what do? We spend $1 on a soda at McDonald's. I mean, really,
true.
When you look at it that way.
Yeah, cheaper than coffee.
Yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned something that you kind of alluded to, and that is renting them. Some people may not need one for more than 4 or 5 days, or maybe a couple of days, and you have that available. Is that correct? You can rent them for a short period?
Sure. We usually have a few in our fleet that we can put out for a short-term rental. And you know, there have been cases where I've left them in my mailbox when people have come by to get them. Or we'll ship them out, and with a return envelope, someone can return them to us. And it's about $20 a day, and we'll actually keep an eye on you, check in with you. But the most important thing is the family can keep an eye on them. In this particular case, this gentleman drove down from North Carolina, never hopped in the Bahamas with his boat, went all around for about 5 days, and then drove all the way back up to North Carolina. So he was like, this was invaluable. It made the phone calls of worry a lot less. We got a good history of our trip, so now we know where we went, because they can export all those latitudes and longitudes into an Excel file and save them for future. So they do have a history of where they went, which is great.
Excellent. I just think too, if it's stolen, You know, think of all the information that you're going to be able to pull. You're going to find out exactly where those people take that. If it's a chop shop or whatever. I think also if you have any type of a car, especially a valuable car.
Yep.
You know, that's not every car is equipped with that star thingy.
Right. And you know, even construction equipment, guys that put construction equipment out on roadways or job sites for a short period of time. Some of the, you know, and they don't need to know every 10 minutes where it is, but we can program those trackers for maybe a message 4 times a day. That way the gentleman, whoever owns the equipment, doesn't see it running around in a circle all day.
Wow.
You know, if it was a sailboat, we program it maybe every hour.
Wow.
If it was an airplane, maybe every 2 minutes. So that way someone has a good flight if the aircraft should happen to, you know, get lost or go down for some unfortunate reason. You know, and we have the alarm system. So let's say you have a beautiful airboat in your driveway. Really, you don't know if somebody's playing with it on it, but we have an alarm system that has a 60-foot cable, a door sensor. Let's say you have a little trailer in your yard, maybe an enclosed landscape trailer, and if someone tries to open the door, it sets off a siren that's attached to the trailer. If somebody tries to pull your ATVs away from the home, if they're wrapped around a tree or to a little tie down somewhere, it'll set off a siren. So at least tries to scare them away before they really decide if they want to, you know, be bold enough to take it.
Wow. You know, it is an invaluable tool to have. I don't think we could stress how important it is to have something like this. On whatever it is that you might have, again, it could be a snowmobile, it could be a jet ski, it could be a kayak.
Yeah.
It could be really construction equipment. It could be just about anything that you have that is of value to you, that you want to hold on to, that is some kind of an asset that you want to be able to track. This is something that will allow that. And if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm mistaken, but I think that you can track it up to 4 feet. You can get within 4 feet of wherever this thing is. Is that right, Carolyn?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say somebody steals something and they put it in a particular driveway, or let's say you're out kayaking all day and your phone goes dead and no one can find you. They can, with 2 ways, with a photograph, a link to a map, and the actual latitude and longitude. You could pull that right off a map by just a click of your mouse. You can send someone for rescue. You can send the law enforcement. You know, you can send whoever you need to that exact location. And, you know, how many people get out and run out of gas, or airboats are out duck hunting season and they don't want to come in, or that last weed line that you want to fish. So really, you know, I've geared it, and we all been there. I've geared this so that people at home don't get so worried. And it's funny, some of the folks at home even tell me, or the guys tell me that, hey, when they get home, the grills are already on, the food's already out there, because, you know, that they're watching at home to know when they're coming back in the canal, or they coming across to, you know, they pull the boat and they come back from Orlando.
Hidden benefit.
So really, it's being used for a whole bunch of good stuff.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Well, let's take a minute to talk a little bit about fishing. Have you got anything to tell me about what's going on with fishing in your area?
Well, there was yesterday there were a couple little tournaments. One was a Hollywood firefighter tournament, about 50 boats. There was some pretty gnarly weather, thunder and lightning going through yesterday. But I think the dolphins were relatively small, maybe 10 pounds or so. That was a fun little charity tournament. And I know there was another tournament up Riviera Beach at the Super Yacht Club. I didn't hear the results on that one, but I am going to try to get out on Wednesday and see if I can drum up some fish and find a few weed lines.
Ooh.
There you go.
I'll be talking to you over the week, and if you got a fish story for us, we'll have you come back and share with us.
Absolutely. And, you know, I just want to remind people, reach out to me if they need a tracker same day and they're relatively local. I can get them one. My number, they can dial me personally, is 954-465-3743. And Riscala, I'm happy if somebody wants to try one for a day or two. I don't mind, you know, comping them for that, just to get a feel for what it feels like. Cause it's so important to be able to say, hey, my dad was here, or my son is over here. You know, and the peace of mind. So I'm happy to try and get the word out and help where I can.
And I think this is such a vital part of going out. We want to enjoy ourselves while we're out there, but we also want to be as safe as we can be. I mean, the reason that we wear seat belts in our cars is not that we're looking forward to an accident. We want to be as safe as we can be in the traveling mode that we're traveling. When you're out there doing something on the outdoors, whether it's hiking, whether it's snow skiing, whether it's jet skiing, whether it's you're out in your boat, whether you're in an aircraft, whether you're on a piece of construction equipment, you want to be able to have access to where this thing is at any given time within 4 feet. I think that's phenomenal. Within 4 feet of wherever it's at.
Yeah, and I want to tell you, actually, just came to mind what happened to me. I went out in a friend's boat, a 20-year-old boat, 20-foot boat, single engine. We went out fishing last week, and I just by chance brought my tracker so I could, make a nice social media post. What did you know? His engine overheated. Oh. And I told my girls in my office, I told my mom where I was, I told them what the tracker, here's the link to the tracker. And we're about 12 miles offshore, and my cell phone was 20%. I'm like, oh no, what am I going to do? Yeah. And luckily the engine started again, but that's the case with me, and I just happen to have one in my duffel bag. That, oh my God, what are we going to do? Yeah. How no one knows we're here kind of situation. So it really is important to have that, especially over the holiday now. How many people are moving? Some of our customers are moving 400 to 600 miles by boat, and we're talking center consoles through the islands. That's a lot of distance to cover when you have some issues. And even, coming back with Scholar, they can come back and look at how many hours did the boat run and figure out if they need, some 100-hour service. Yeah. So the maps and things are useful for other things.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. We're coming up to the break right now.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Thanks for having me on this morning. You all be safe.
Take care.
Thanks, Carol.
Thanks. All right, thanks for calling.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riskella. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Download the Fish Florida mobile app to plan your boating, fishing, or hunting trip. You can find your tide reports, buoy reports, get a fishing license, and even find someone to go fishing with. Plus great products and services from all our media partners. And oh yeah, you can get the Fish Florida show on the app. Sundays at 8 a.m. Eastern here on the WDBF radio networks. So download the Fish Florida mobile app to plan your boating, fishing, or hunting trip and tune in.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Today, my new dad and I shot off a rocket in the park.
Today, my new son and I failed to shoot off a rocket.
He knew exactly what to do.
I had no clue what I was doing.
We set up the rocket. Hit ignition. And then
nothing. Sometimes I laugh when I'm frustrated.
Then out of nowhere, the rocket launched into the air.
The rocket did get into the air.
I've never seen anything fly so high.
And then crashed into a kite.
Look out! Look out!
And then the pond.
I'll never forget that day.
I'll never forget that day, even if I tried.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
It took me a long time to be able to say Chandler has cancer, because that is such a scary word. St. Jude takes care of absolutely everything. And knowing that we don't have to pay for all of the medical expenses, that's huge.
St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
St. Jude is uniquely positioned to advance the cures of pediatric cancer, I think better than any other institution in the world. The contributions make a big difference.
Donors are important to us because you get the feeling that you have a team behind you. We have the resources and we have the focus. And so if St. Jude doesn't do it, who will?
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
My vehicle was sent 6 feet in the air in a ball of fire. I thought I was going to die.
It ripped my arm off. It
broke my right femur.
I took such a hard blow to the head that my retina was torn apart.
Say a prayer for peace.
I'm Trace Adkins. I want to tell you about these true American heroes and how you can show your thanks by helping them through Wounded Warrior Project.
They've reached out to us as a family, and they never forgot about us.
The job of helping thousands of our wounded warriors rebuild their lives is massive and growing every day. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Many of these service members suffer traumatic brain injury and post-traumatic stress disorder.
They helped me basically put my life back together.
If it wasn't for Wounded Warrior Project, I would be a statistic right now. I would have been one of those soldiers who came home and committed suicide.
I'm in the fields of Vietnam, the mountains of Afghanistan.
Your gift today of $19 a month can help us provide the programs and services desperately needed by our wounded service members. Call or go online with a pledge and you'll receive this Wounded Warrior Project blanket. Make that call now.
Say a prayer for peace.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. on the WDBF Radio Network. And now, your host, Riscala Stevens.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. It is the Fish Florida Show, and I have my co-host with me, the one and only Pam Worth. Good morning, Miss Pam.
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing well, and we've discussed a few things this morning that I believe are very important. One was what's happening with the drainage of the lake and the damage that is happening. We've also spoken about the importance of having something to give you peace of mind to whether you're going to travel. You could use it for traveling. Now that I think about it, if you have a loved one that's going to travel from point A to point B on land, on water, in air, it doesn't really matter. This is a global product. It can locate you within 4 feet anywhere on the planet. And our next guest is going to tell us a little bit more about some fishing tournaments that she's involved in. Her name is Lisa Fitzgerald, and she is with the CCA, and she handles the Florida Star division. And they've got some very interesting tournaments happening right now. Good morning, Miss Lisa.
Well, good morning. How are you guys this morning?
Great. It finally stopped raining.
Oh, my gosh. I'm up in Central Florida, and it is just, we still are getting monsoons up here. It is just pouring up here.
Wow.
Oh man, I was out grouper fishing. Sorry.
You were grouper fishing?
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Friday in the middle of the bay, and all we did was dodge storms. But how about you? How is the Star Tournament coming along? How many entries? What's going on, lady?
Well, we're close to our mark of 6,000 registered anglers,
wow.
Which is great. We finished off the year last year with a total of 5,847 registered anglers, and we've surpassed that, so we're very excited. Hopefully by the end of the competition, we hope to have 6,500 registered anglers, which would be just a wonderful thing. Not where we want to be, based on the fact that we have nearly 2 million licensed saltwater anglers in the state of Florida. Everybody should be participating in this, not just because it benefits conservation and youth anglers, but just because of the amount of prizes available to everyone.
Yeah.
What kind of prizes do you have there?
We have nearly $500,000 in prizes that we're giving away to people just for catching fish.
Wow.
And that's not the biggest fish, Pam. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
It's any minimum size fish that is an eligible species. And those eligible non-tagged species are non-tagged redfish, trout, snook, grouper, mahi, and kingfish, as well as tarpon. We don't require a fish to be harvested in order for you to participate. We have an official measuring device, which you can pick up at any West Marine store, Tampa Outfitters, just about any bait and tackle shop you can pick them up at. Take a picture of the fish on the official measuring device, submit it through our smartphone app, and you're entered in the competition because the majority of the divisions are determined by a random draw.
Easy peasy.
Now so that's pretty easy. But that's not the case with the tagged redfish or the tagged mahi. We've tagged nearly 170 redfish in the state of Florida, and we've released on average 4 per coastal county.
Wow.
There are 3 counties that actually have more tagged redfish than any other county, and that is Brevard County, Charlotte County, and Citrus County. Those are our destination counties, and they each have 8 tagged redfish in their counties.
8. Have any tagged redfish been caught in any of those counties?
Yes. To date, we have had 11 recaptured tagged redfish.
Wow.
However, only one of those guys was registered in the competition, and he had his choice. Here are the prizes that we offer in the tagged redfish division. He had his choice of all of these. We offer a GMC Sierra 4-door pickup truck from Conley Buick in Bradenton. Yeah. We offer a Contender 22 Sport with a Yamaha motor, 200, a Pathfinder with Yamaha.
Lord have mercy.
A Hughes with a Yamaha, a Carolina Skiff, again with a Yamaha, and a Cottonmouth boat. They all are on trailer. Every boat is valued at over $50,000.
Exactly.
Now, our first winner had his choice of all of those prizes, and he picked the Pathfinder.
Wow.
And along with that Pathfinder, he got a Solix 10 on the center console. He got a Minn Kota Tarova on the bow of the boat, and he got a shallow water anchor on the transom.
Outstanding.
This guy made out like a bandit.
I'm in shock.
But I know you have a youth division also. Are you going to give a Pathfinder to someone under 16?
So if someone between the ages of 6 and 17 catches one of our tagged redfish, they get a brand new Carolina Skiff, 16-foot center console with a 40 horsepower motor and trailer, along with a Minn Kota trolling motor and a Helix 7 on the center console.
Now this has got to cost.
That's for a youth angler.
Wow, this has got.
But there's another division. They have their shot at $100,000 in college scholarships just for catching a ladyfish.
I love this lady.
Jack.
I love this lady. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
So the entry fee has got to be outrageous.
No, the entry fee is minimal. Pam, you hit it on, you hit it on the head. People think, oh my gosh, a weekend tournament, some people are paying $150, $450 to participate in these. It's $75 if you're not a CCA member. If you are a CCA member, it's only $40.
Wow. So how does somebody become a member?
All you have to do is go to our website, which is www.ccaflstar.com. Go online, and it'll ask you to register for STAR. There are icons on the home page, and you just click on that, and it will take you where you can become a member and register for STAR.
Wow.
Now I could do it. So, and we all know how technology challenged I am. Yes. And I could do it. So, and if you're not sure, ask a 5-year-old.
It's true.
It's simple. True. It's so simple.
Lisa, all of these prizes, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned that you tagged some mahi-mahi. How did you do that?
So we were in connection with the University of Miami, who gave us all of our information on the mahi and their travel patterns and when we should tag them. We went to, and just like we did with most of our redfish, we captured them by hook and line, brought them aboard the boat, tagged them, and released them.
That's amazing.
The mahi-mahi. We did that in the very southernmost part of Florida because the research showed us that this particular area is where all of the dolphin congregate. Then they split up and they travel up the east and the west coast of Florida. So what we wanted to make sure that we did was we got into a group of fish that would allow us to give equal sides of the state an opportunity to catch one of those migrating dolphins, and whoever was the first angler to catch one of those tagged dolphins, and they were a CCA member, would win $10,000 cash.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
I hope there's one off Pompano. I have another extreme tournament out there in a month.
Well, I tell you, they migrate. We were over in Jensen Beach the other weekend, and everybody was
wow.
Seems to be finding small dolphins, so I think might have an opportunity over there, Pam.
All right. Hey,
do you have? I know you have mahi over here. Do you have to go very far out to get them over here on this side of the thing?
We don't really catch them that much. As a matter of fact, a friend of mine ended up going just 20 miles out and ran to a school of them. Wow. We also had a sailfish caught less than 100 miles out, which is totally unusual for the West Coast.
Yeah, it seems like the Gulf, you got to really, it's very shallow for the longest way out there. And you don't really get very deep until you get some serious mileage behind you.
Correct.
It's not
I think they tell me it's a foot a mile.
Yes,
so
I've heard that.
If you go out 100 miles, then you're 100 feet of water. But I don't think that's consistent all up and down the coast, because I know we go out of Crystal River or out of Homosassa 100 miles, we're still only in 70 feet of water.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yet you go out up by Panama and you can hit deep water pretty quickly, or Navarre.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even up by Navarre, you can hit deep water pretty quickly.
Wow.
Well, you know, guys, I don't know if your listeners actually know. We say CCA, and we think everyone knows what CCA stands for. But that is Coastal Conservation Association. And our organization has been around for 40 years. We started out as the Florida Conservation Association, and now it's Coastal Conservation Association, and our corporate offices are in Texas. But our organization is a couple of, we have like 3 aspects of our organization, and we've morphed as things change with our environment. We've had to also change, and we're an advocacy voice for recreational anglers, helping with setting limits on fish, helping with making sure that slot sizes, all of those types of things are very critical in what our organization does. But primarily, if you will take a look at our organization, we're all about habitat and preserving habitat through oyster bed renourishment, shoreline stabilization, mangrove replanting, seagrass replanting, and we even have our eyes and hands in these water quality issues. However, that is not our forte, yet we want to be involved, and we want to make sure that people understand that although you may not see everything that we do, we're a behind-the-scenes kind of organization. So I always tell everyone, you may not agree with everything that our organization does, but we are one of the only organizations that has all 3 components.
That's amazing. That's great. Hey,
and
I'm going to change. Yes. I'm going to change the subject on you for a second. You're one of the first lady captains. I know you've fished in the IFA for years. Can you give us one tip on how we can catch that tagged redfish?
Wow. Yes. I would have to say, most people think they're looking for a needle in a haystack. And what we've done is put these redfish in areas that hold redfish. So first and foremost, in your area where you fish, you want to target where there are known redfish. I can tell you that almost every one of the 11 fish that have been caught, and this is weird, they've been caught by a either live or dead shrimp on a jig head.
Nice. Well, Lisa, you're going to hate us, but we're coming up against a break, so I'm going to have to let you go.
Oh,
here.
no.
Can you give me the website one more time, or how they can get back in touch with you?
Yes, please. Please get online. It's www.ccaflstar.com, and you can get yourself registered there, or if you want to call our toll-free number, that's 844-387-STAR, 7827. That's 844-387-STAR, 7827. And Pam, bring up one thing real quick. July the 21st, we have a trash tour coming up at E.G. Simmons Park. So we'd love to have everybody out there gathering trash for us on July the 21st at E.G. Simmons Park. Go online and find the event. It's an amazing event.
Lisa,
it's in Tampa Bay.
Got to cut you short, Lisa. We're up against a break, but I promise I'm going to have you back on. We got to talk some more about what you're doing. It's amazing. Thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go away. We're not going anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riskella. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
WDBFradio.com. WDBFradio.com.
WDBFradio.com. Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
Hi folks, I'm Roger from Rogers Gotcha Motoring. If you need a local auto repair shop, Rogers Gotcha Motoring will take care of all of your automotive repair needs. If you need something as simple as an oil change or as complex as an engine overhaul, I have the latest in technology and the knowledge to get the job done right. We've been servicing Pinellas County since 1994 and are conveniently located at 3700 5th Avenue North in St. Petersburg, Florida. If you need service, call now at 727-327-1830 or visit my website at www.rogersgotchamotoring.com or like my Facebook page at Rogers Gotcha Motoring for a complete list of all of our services. So come on over to Rogers, that's me, and get your car service today. And don't forget to shop and support local business. Call now to book your appointment at 727-327-1830. That's 727-327-1830, or swing on by.
Que Pasa Mexican Cantina is where friends and neighbors come to connect, share, and celebrate one another in a festive, casual atmosphere. Offering rich, robust flavors of authentic Mexican cuisine, we use only the freshest, finest ingredients. We chop and dice, season and blend, and then cook everything we serve to perfection. One thing that makes Mexican food even better is one of our delicious Best of the Bay margaritas. Our signature series of margarita flavors range from our sweet and fruity mango and strawberry to our hot and juicy jalapeno margarita. Having a busy meeting or getting together and looking for Mexican food? Try our Fast Fax form. It's an easy, fast way to order your favorite Mexican food. We have special platters and layouts for any occasion. The form is super easy to fill out, fax, email, or just call it in. Whether it's here in the restaurant, in your home or office, at Que Pasa we celebrate bringing people together. Que Pasa Mexican Cantina, 10478 Roosevelt Boulevard North Street in the Gateway Shopping Center, 727-330-3663 in St. Petersburg.
Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Hey, this is Captain Hook for Statewide Pest Control Services. They've been serving the west coast of Florida since 1987. Statewide does it all. Pest control, termites, lawns, mosquitoes, tent fumigations, etc. This announcement is from their mold division. Since Hurricane Charlie in 2004, all their personnel are certified in mold and moisture control. Their two-step services are guaranteed to get you back in your home quicker and in most cases paid by your insurance company. Give them a call at 877-488-7378. That's statewide pest control services for all your pest and mold control needs, serving Florida from Pasco to Lee counties. Statewide pest control services, 877-488-7378. 877-488-7378. That's 877-488-7378. You're listening to WDBFradio.com, a tune-in station.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. It calls me a grouper. Stop fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. on the WDBF Radio Network. And now, your host, Riscala Stevens.
Well, good morning, everyone. It is the Fish Florida Show. It's the top of the hour. If you've missed the first hour, you missed a lot of information. We talked about conserving our waters. We talked about the improper drainage of Lake Okeechobee and the damage that it's doing. We also talked about how you could win a pickup truck, a boat, by nothing more than catching a fish. How's that? How'd you like that, Pam?
That's my goal.
I'm still reeling, pun. I'm still reeling from what can you imagine I love fishing. You go fishing and you catch one of these tagged fish and then you have your choice of oh my goodness, and a whopping, if you're not a member, was it $75 if you're not a member?
$75 to become a member.
And if you are a member, it's $40. So for a $75 investment or a $40 investment, you could turn that around into literally a new truck, a new boat. Oh my goodness. We're definitely going to have her back on. She's a load of information, and I thoroughly enjoyed having her on. That's Lisa Fitzgerald with CCA Florida Star, and you can find her at ccaflstar.com. And I think we have one of the Sikoras on with us today. Sikora, Andy or
it is Andy.
Andy, good morning, sir.
Good morning. I'm sorry I'm a little bit on the late side calling you in, but it's a busy morning here.
Oh, no.
Lee Keys, everybody's down here fishing and diving for the weekend.
Oh, great. Hey, while I'm thinking about it, Andy, do you know anybody who does diving, personally?
I know a lot of people that dive, yes.
Could you, when you get a minute, give me some names, because I'd like to get a diver, somebody who's diving, so they can give us their perspective of what's going on. Because, we're fishing on top of the water, but we don't really hear from anybody that's below the water. And I'd like to get some perspective on what's going on down there.
I got you. I can, after we're done, I'll send you the name of somebody. He's actually gone down to Cayman Islands diving for a couple days, but he dives all the time up here.
Excellent.
So I can definitely do that for you.
Yeah, because I think it would be great to have their perspective on, share their perspective, what they're seeing down there, 20, 30, 40 feet, 50, 60 feet, whatever they are, and kind of sharing that with us, because we don't really have an idea. We're on top of the water. We're looking for weeds. We're looking for whatever, and we don't see what's going on down below. So, I think that would be great. So, a good morning to you, Andy. Thank you so much for calling in. Andy is with Dockside Fuel Service. Let's talk a little bit about what Dockside Fuel Service is, Andy.
Okay, well, we're a Dockside Fuel Service. We're based here in Key Largo. Anybody can give us a call, 305-923-6509. We deliver fuel to your boat. Basically anywhere in the Keys. We spend more time in the upper Keys, but we go all the way from Key Largo all the way to Key West, and we sell both the Rec 90 non-ethanol fuel and the red dye diesel for boats. And give us a call. We'll make an appointment for you. We'll come fuel the boat. It makes it very simple. You don't have to leave the dock. You don't have to go to the marina. We just come up, we fill the boat, and you go out boating and enjoying the things that you love to do.
I think I know I told a couple people about you that are leaving from the Tampa area. I know that for the holidays, it's got to be crazy. And again, how long does it take you to fuel the average boat so somebody would know their wait time?
Yeah, not very long. It depends on the boat. Every boat fuels a little bit differently, but our truck pumps about 25 gallons a minute. So anywhere from 15 gallons a minute. Some boats take it, slower. Some boats take it faster, but 15, 20 minutes tops if you take a lot of fuel. A lot of times we're out of there in 10 minutes or so.
That's great. And the nice thing is they don't have to come to ABC Marina to get your fuel. How does that exactly work?
Yeah, they don't have to come to the marina. Just give us a call on the phone, text us. You can go to our website, www.dockside-fuel.com, make an appointment on the internet also. We show up as the boat we're doing right now. The people aren't even here. We show up, we fuel up their boat, we send them an invoice by email, and when they come out to use the boat, it's all filled up and they're ready to go, and all they got to do is pay online. So it's a very, very efficient thing, and a lot of the people that we fuel, they're not even here.
That's straightforward.
When we're fueling them. So they just have a full tank all the time.
That's amazing. So they can be sitting there having their coffee and breakfast, and when they're ready to go fish, boom, boat's loaded. You don't have to sit in line in a marina for an hour and a half.
And the other thing, Pam, is that they're competitively priced. So this is when we go to a convenience store, like I don't want to say a name, but when you go to a convenience store, you're going to pay a premium because it is a convenience, the convenience of the store. This is a little different. The convenience that these people offer is also competitively priced. And the minimum that they'll bring to you is 50 gallons. So let's say that you have a small skiff or something. Riscala, I can't hold 50 gallons. What about your neighbor? If you can hold 25 and your neighbor can hold 25, they'll work out a deal with you where they come out to one location, they'll deliver your fuel for you, and you'll be ready to go.
That's correct. And right now we've got a few prices of marinas just because we've been by the marinas. Right now we're numerous of the marinas right here in Key Largo are about 90 cents a gallon cheaper. So you're saving yourself a pretty fair amount of money by having us come out and fuel you.
We're not talking pennies here. 90 cents a gallon?
Right, there's a couple of marinas right now where we're 90 cents a gallon less. So that's a lot of money you're saving, especially if you're getting 100 or 200 gallons. That works out to a lot of money that you get to keep in your pocket.
If you round that up, for every gallon is $1. I mean, if you just kind of round it up. So if you're taking 25 gallons, that's $25, roughly.
Or if you're taking 150 gallons, you just saved yourself almost $150, $140. That's a lot of money too. You can take the family out to dinner for the holiday weekend.
I was going to say, it pays for all your bait.
There you go. And pay for your bait. That's right. So, Andy, can you tell us a little bit about fishing? What's going on down there where you're at?
Well, actually, we just fueled up someone yesterday, was out there mutton snapper fishing late in the day, and he killed it. He said they were 18 to 22 pound fish, the biggest mutton snapper she's absolutely ever caught. Wow. So the mutton snapper is just killing it, but of course we're coming off the full moon. On full moon this time of year is when the mutton snappers are there on the deeper reefs. And the dolphin are coming in, they're getting bigger. Everybody's pulling in bigger dolphin now.
That's nice.
There's still schoolies out there, but the bigger dolphin are definitely starting to show up. Not the huge ones, but 12 to 15 pounders.
That's nice. Yeah, that's fine with me.
Dinner.
I'll take that all day long. Oh my.
Well, let's go back to if you don't mind, to the mutton snapper. Did they tell you, basically you said deeper reefs, how deep they are and what they're using?
Yeah. Well, yes, 150 to 180, 150 to 180 feet. And what was he fishing with? No, I did not ask him what he was fishing with. I didn't think to ask him. He was showing me pictures and I just was amazed how big the fish were. I've never seen muttons that big, to be perfectly honest with you.
Wow. That's a heck of a dinner, isn't it?
That is. That's great. A heck of a fight.
Yeah. And he had a bunch of guys on the boat. I think they had about eight or nine of them at that size. I mean, it was just like, holy cow, look at all those snapper. They're just huge.
That's great.
But he had a boatload of people with him to share it with. So he was, but like I said, I've heard of a couple other people catching mutton, just not that big. That's the biggest reports that I've heard.
That's some of the biggest fish I've heard about in years.
Yeah. Yeah, I really didn't think they got that big.
Yeah.
So
I didn't either.
When we're talking about mutton snappers, because I think I'm right. So somebody correct me if I'm wrong. They're not really snappers, are they? They're not red snappers.
Well, they're a subspecies.
So are they? If you catch a mutton snapper, does it come under the guidance of red snapper?
No.
Okay.
Right?
Comes under the guidance of snapper, I believe. Yellowtail and mangrove snapper, the same collective aggregate, I believe. And I think there is a limit off the top of my head. I don't know what it is. I think there is a limit on how many mutton snappers you can pull out, but I don't know what it is off the top of my head.
One per day? I think it's one per day. Captain Hook thinks it's one per day. All right, you know what? If you catch a 20 pound, what did he catch? How many pounds of that thing?
18 to 22 pounds, he said. The biggest one was 22, but they were all in the 18 to 22 range. Biggest he's ever had. He had a boatload of people. He said it was never so exciting catching bottom fish.
Wow. Yeah, like we did, like I said, the inshore grouper fishing, and that 27-inch fish was 3-4 pounds. It felt like of meat. It fed 4 people last night without any problem at all.
So you catch one of these muttons, that'll keep you going for a while.
Exactly. You don't need more than one.
Wow. So I don't mind if it's just one. One will keep me happy for quite a while.
One fish in that size can feed a bunch of people for dinner. That's for darn sure.
What are you seeing with regard to the seas down there, Andy? How's the seas acting, and how's the weather in general?
Non-existent. It's perfectly flat.
Wow. And you know
what?
what?
Less than a foot, and no wind. Diving conditions are unbelievable. You could kayak to Bimini, I believe, today.
Now you're talking my language.
That's what I thought.
Well, you know, Pam was telling me this morning that she missed her turn because she was admiring the water and how flat it was. I'm on the West Coast this morning. I'm not on the East Coast like I normally am. I'm on the West Coast. And she was saying she's admiring the water and how calm it was and how smooth it was, and she missed her turn. So it's not only smooth on the east side, but it sounds like we've got it on both sides this morning.
Yeah, I think this is the first day we haven't had rain in a week, so it just looked marvelous.
Yeah.
And I think up in the mainland's been raining. We haven't had rain down here in the Keys in the last few days, but I understand yesterday and then maybe even the day before they had some good rainstorms. But down in the Keys, we escaped that most of the time, and yesterday was an unbelievably great day down here, not a drip of rain. I think it rained a little bit overnight, but during the day it was hot, humid, no wind, and everybody was out boating.
My kind of weekend.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And when you have somebody like Dockside Fuel Service and you got your boat sitting at the dock and they come fuel you up, all you got to do is get in the boat, turn the key, and go. How do you like that? That's my kind of stuff. You know, that's the kind of stuff that dreams are made of almost, where you're ready to go and you go. You don't have to worry about going to the marina. You don't have to worry about fuel or taking it out of the water and taking it to a gas station and paying $2.70 roughly a gallon. You can have these guys come out and fuel you up. 90 cents. I'm still in shock over
savings.
90 cents a gallon is
cheaper.
And the prices are a little higher than what you just quoted, but we're still saving you a lot of money from going to a marina. We are consistently, significantly less than what a marina charges. Dockside Fuel, 305-923-6509. We'll bring the fuel right to your house. We get to you as quickly as we can. We've pretty much gotten to everybody this weekend. It's a busy holiday weekend, but we're keeping all the boaters out there moving around and pretty happy for the most part, and they're not waiting on any boating gas lines.
And they can reach you online, and they can reach you by phone. You've made it very simple, a very simple process to get this accomplished. You can send them a text, you can give them a phone call. If you're already set up with them, it's just a matter of them coming out, fueling you, and then sending you an invoice. I don't think we could make it much easier than that.
No, we can't. And for our repeat customers, that's pretty much how it is. Probably 60 to 70% of our customers are repeat customers, and they just call us up, we fuel them up, the boat's ready to go, we send them an invoice. It's lickety-split. You can actually pay on your phone once you're set up with us.
Wow.
So two clicks and the bill's paid, and you got a full gas tank, and your boat's ready to go.
Technology constantly amazes me. You can pay with your phone. That's great. Hey, Andy, have you got any information regarding backwater? Anything going on in the backwaters that you know about?
We hear so few backwater reports. Quite honestly, all of the backcountry boats, they hold such little fuel. We don't fuel hardly any backcountry boats, so rarely do we get, if we're fueling somebody and somebody next door has a flats boat, but for the most part, that's not our customer base because they have small fuel tanks.
Yeah,
so we have such little exposure to it. And personally, I was a backcountry guy. I've turned into an offshore guy. So I don't really even go backcountry all that much myself. I'm out there fishing for dolphin and snapper for the most part.
So you kicked the backwater habit, and now you're in the deep water habit.
I did. As my kids were growing up, they didn't like backcountry fishing quite so much, only because you don't see as many fish.
Yeah.
So I switched over and I became an offshore guy. But unfortunately, I don't bring very many backcountry because we just don't have a whole lot of exposure to backcountry people.
Yeah. The other thing I like about jumping back to your business is that you're family run and you have all those family morals and high standards. Yeah. None of you guys are going to slip something and say, "Oh, the boss isn't watching," because each one of you are your own bosses. And I love that about you guys.
That's why I have them
pretty
on.
much we establish a pretty good trust with the customer. It's either going to be myself or Kyle delivering the fuel. You know who's bringing you the fuel. You get to know the people, and we do develop a little relationship with our customers. But it's, for the most part, it's just either him or I coming to your house. So, and we do take care of your boat, and we're very, very careful with everything that we are entrusted.
Well, Andy, I want to thank you for taking the time to call in, sharing with us what you do, as well as the fishing report. It is that time. We've got a break coming up. I wish you a great weekend, my friend. Looking forward to speaking with you again real soon. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go away, because we're not going anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riskella. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Download the Fish Florida mobile app to plan your boating, fishing, or hunting trip. You can find your tide reports, buoy reports, get a fishing license, and even find someone to go fishing with. Plus great products and services from all our media partners. And oh yeah, you can get the Fish Florida Show on the app. Sundays at 8 a.m. Eastern here on the WDBF radio networks. So download the Fish Florida mobile app to plan your boating, fishing, or hunting trip and tune in.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Today, my new dad and I shot off a rocket in the park.
Today, my new son and I failed to shoot off a rocket.
He knew exactly what to do.
I had no clue what I was doing.
We set up the rocket. Hit ignition. And then
Nothing. Sometimes I laugh when I'm frustrated.
Then out of nowhere, the rocket launched into the air.
The rocket did get into the air.
I've never seen anything fly so high.
And then crashed into a kite.
Look out! Look out!
And then the pond.
I'll never forget that day.
I'll never forget that day, even if I tried.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
It took me a long time to be able to say Chandler has cancer, because that is such a scary word. St. Jude takes care of absolutely everything. And knowing that we don't have to pay for all of the medical expenses, that's huge.
St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
St. Jude is uniquely positioned to advance the cures of pediatric cancer, I think better than any other institution in the world. The contributions make a big difference.
Donors are important to us because you get the feeling that you have a team behind you. We have the resources and we have the focus. And so if St. Jude doesn't do it, who will?
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
My vehicle was sent 6 feet in the air in a ball of fire. I thought I was going to die.
It ripped my arm off. It broke my right femur.
I took such a hard blow to the head that my retina was torn apart.
Say a prayer for peace.
I'm Trace Atkins. I want to tell you about these true American heroes and how you can show your thanks by helping them through Wounded Warrior Project.
They've reached out to us as a family, and they never forgot about us.
The job of helping thousands of our wounded warriors rebuild their lives is massive and growing every day. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Many of these service members suffer traumatic brain injury and post-traumatic stress disorder.
They helped me basically put my life back together.
If it wasn't for Wounded Warrior Project, I would be a statistic right now. I would have been one of those soldiers who came home and committed suicide.
I'm in the fields of Vietnam, the mountains of Afghanistan.
Your gift today of $19 a month can help us provide the programs and services desperately needed by our wounded service members. Call or go online with a pledge and you'll receive this Wounded Warrior Project blanket. Make that call now.
Say a prayer for peace.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. on the WDBF Radio Network. And now, your host, Riscala Stevens.
Well, good morning, everyone. If you're just tuning in, you've missed out on quite a bit of information this morning. And we want to welcome you if you're just tuning in. It is the Fish Florida Show. I am your host, Riscala, and I have my special co-host with me, Pam Worth. Pam is one of the top female anglers here in Florida, and she brings a peculiar perspective to the table because she's literally at the water level. And I have some pictures of her on our site on Facebook. You can see her holding a fish as big as the kayak that she's in. Very impressive, very impressive. Good morning, Pam. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you so much for that introduction. You're always so sweet.
You know, we've talked about a couple of very important things this morning. We talked about how I want to say irresponsible. Maybe that may be an exaggeration, but to me it seems to be an irresponsible act by people who are in charge of draining the lake, and we're seeing some really serious damage. There's a place here called Boca Grande, south of Clearwater, right? South of where we're at, where there has been some serious damage, some serious fish kills going on down there, and it is directly related to the improper drainage of the lake, as well as a couple of other things. We talked about red tide. Red tide, from what I understand, you can correct me, I think you know what it is a bacterial thing, right?
Right. It's a natural occurring.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily them draining the lake to cause the red tide. Red tide is a separate issue. What's causing the problem now is what we call this algae bloom, where we're having a tremendous amount of algae all over the place, and it's literally choking. It's taking the oxygen out of the water, choking these fish. And this one video that I saw, which was very disturbing, 20 or 30 Goliath groupers. These are big fish. These are at least 50 pounds. Some of them were in hundreds of pounds, washed up on the shore. This is our resources, and it's very disturbing to me to know that this is going on seemingly without impunity. I may be wrong, but it seems to be that they're able to do this stuff without being punished in some way or facing some kind of justice. And this is our resource.
Yeah, and the other hurt is, especially this area was hit so hard a few years ago by the freeze. So our snook population is just now coming back to where it should be. And what I saw were these the big breeder snooks, the upper end, in the 40s, full of roe washed up on the beach. So that's the next generation. And again, the other thing we talked about was people don't realize, they go, oh, big deal, some fish up on the beach. Fishing is one of the biggest tourism industries in Florida. We're not a manufacturer state. And tourism is a multi-billion-dollar state. And you start dirtying up the beaches, who's going to come?
That's right. It's like having oil on the beach, you know. Yeah. It's just almost the same thing. You have oil on the beach, who's going to want to come to your beach? Who's going to want to come to Florida knowing that the fish have been contaminated with, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah. Plus, you know, and you look at it, and I know some of us old conks and us old Floridians go, yeah, we don't want the tourist. But if you run a restaurant, you do anything retail, it's kind of a drizzle down.
It's a staple.
Exactly.
It's a staple.
Exactly.
For Florida.
It hits everybody.
Yeah. And believe it or not, even though you may not have directly involved in tourism, it has an effect on us because we make money off of tourists, and that money helps pay for different things around the state. And we don't have that money, then guess what happens to taxes? That wonderful word.
Exactly.
You know, so this is a balancing act, my friends, and I feel very, very strongly about raising your voice up and letting these people know you're not happy with what's going on. This is irresponsible. This is not the way to take care of our resources. We have a younger generation coming up. Growing up, for me, one of my favorite things was grab the fishing rod and go down to the canal and go fishing.
Yep.
You know, it was a pastime. And we didn't have video games. We when the sun came up, we left the house. When the sun came down, we came back home. And it wasn't uncommon for us to be out there all day long fishing and having a great time doing it. And now, you know, it looks, with what's going on, it appears to be that these resources that we have are literally being destroyed. Literally.
They are.
And if we sit by idly and say nothing, then it's, you know, when it's all said and done, it's our fault.
You know, we have an election year. We all have a voice. This is an election year. Look at your politicians. Get out there. Find out where they stand. Have them make statements. Have them come out and say exactly what they're going to do. Find out who sponsors them, where they get their money from, and what they're going to do. It is our tomorrow.
It is to me, it's a responsibility for us who have, looking forward to another generation coming forward. It's a responsibility to them. And it's a responsibility to us to a certain degree as well. These are resources that one of the reasons I live in Florida is the weather. The secondary reason is the outdoors. I love water. I love being on the water. I love fishing. And if someone comes along and destroys fishing for me, I mean, that's like literally slapping you in the face, you know? So again, I say, let your voice be heard. If it's an email, if it's a phone call, whatever that might be, to make sure that our representatives are understanding we're not happy with what's going on here in South Florida with regard to the draining of the water out of Lake Okeechobee. Again, I will tell you that, one of my friends, Robert Warner, who is with Florida Fisherman Magazine, sent me a picture of one of the inlets, and the water coming out of the inlet is disturbing. It's almost black and going into the ocean. Some places around the state, you can't even go swimming anymore.
That's true.
So what are we going to do? If we're a tourist-based state and people can't come here and go fishing, aren't we shooting ourselves in the foot? I mean, really, isn't that what we're doing?
You can't swim. You can't enjoy the beaches. You can't fish.
Go fishing.
I mean, Disney World only brings you to Central Florida.
So I encourage you to make your voice heard out there, whatever that might be, whether it's an email, whether it's a phone call, whether it's a fax, whatever that might be, make your voice heard and let them know that we're not happy with what's going on and we want to see a change. We want to see a positive change, because I think a lot of this is politically motivated. I may be wrong. It's just my personal opinion with as little as I know about it, but it seems to be a political motivation, that is being pushed by a particular industry. And it is in that industry's best interest to continue doing this. Otherwise, again, we go back to the profit thing, you know. Mm-hmm. So are we going to put profits above our resources? I don't think that makes sense to me.
No. And there's some great organizations out there. One of them is Captains for Clean Water, and people think they're maybe radical and liberal, and they're not. Mm-hmm. These are old conchs that have been generations in Florida. You know,
so they've seen.
Exactly. And their livelihood depends on the clean water, and they understand what's going on. Yeah. And if you don't have the willpower to call or write, at least contact them and
support them.
$1 even. It will go a long way to help them.
Who is that again?
It's Captains for Clean Water.
CCW.
You can turn around and look it up on Instagram. I also believe they have a Facebook page and probably a website. I'm sorry, I don't have that information at my fingertips.
Captains for Clean Water. We also had the CCA. CCA, was it Florida Star?
Tournament.
And they're also involved with conservation of the waters. And it was amazing what she told me this morning. Again, I'm going to have her back on because of all the information that I think we barely touched, the tip of the iceberg kind of thing with her, with all the stuff that's out. Can you imagine, as much as we love fishing, catching the right fish, and bringing that fish up. Now you've got the joy of catching your dinner, but it goes so much further because now you've got one of these tagged fish and you get to choose from these phenomenal prizes. That's just, I'm still amazed by that whole thing.
Yeah, between a car and a boat and trailer.
Wow.
And the other thing they're doing that you don't realize is when you take each of the pictures and you put the location where you caught that fish, you're also helping in conservatism. You're helping in tracking the fish.
Data,
How many are being caught? How many of those being caught are being released? You're also asked, do you catch it by bait? Do you catch it by artificial?
Mm-hmm.
Did the fish swim away strongly? Was it weak? Or did you, keep it for dinner? Which is fine too.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that detailed. Wow.
Yeah, a lot of information.
So you're a member of that, right?
Yes, sir. I'm a life member.
Yeah. So, you've paid your membership, go out there and go fish and catch one of those redfish and come back with a big smile on your face.
I'll tell you, we'll all go out on the boat.
What a deal. What a deal. I'm telling you, whether it's a boat or a pickup truck, right? Is
That's
one of the
right.
prizes a pickup truck
That's
as well.
Right.
So, it's phenomenal. We can have so much fun out here in Florida. So many different things that we can do. Again, this show is kind of focused on fishing, and don't want to be redundant, but it's important that we take care of our resources. It's one of the reasons that, a lot of my friends, when they go out fishing, they don't go out fishing to boatload. They go out fishing to catch dinner, catch a couple of dinners. They're not out there to catch every fish that they can possibly catch. It's just called conservatism, so that the next person can have an opportunity. And when we have a situation like what's happening now with regard to what's going on with the drainage of the water and literally destroying some of our resources, when we have fish washing up on the shore, that should be very concerning for people. And it's not one or two fish. It's a bunch of fish. It's a whole bunch of fish. And it's not just fish. It was crabs. It was, I believe there was manatees involved as well. Goliath groupers, big fish, as well as little fish, grunts. This is our resources, and we're literally watching them being destroyed.
Yeah, because as the beach water gets bad, right now is when the snook are spawning, and that's a hint for anybody on the coastal area that wants to catch a really nice snook. Even though they're off season, you will have to release them, so be careful with them.
Yeah.
But the big snook are on the beach right now.
And last show I learned something that I wasn't aware of. When you catch a snook, you have to be careful how you handle the snook, because if you hold it wrong, you could actually damage that snook. Even if you plan on releasing it again, you could actually damage it to the point where you could hurt it. So I'm always learning. There's always something to learn about our show. And in doing this show, this is what I want other people. There may be other people out there who are like me. You don't know everything that there is to know about fishing, but you listen to the show and you learn. And, that's really my intention, is to bring information to people so that you may not know, you may know, you may not know, but if you don't and you find out, that's a great thing.
And if there's something you want to hear about or something you want us to explore
Absolutely,
further, turn around and tag us on
you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on the web. You can send me a message. We'd be happy to address it. If it's something that's, that falls along the lines of what we talk about, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And feel free to holler at me on Instagram if you guys have any questions or need tips or anything like that. I'm there. I respond very quickly.
And you did a little, we talked earlier about the little bit of fishing that you did yesterday. You caught a grouper, and
I had a blast. I went out for the first time in quite some time. I went out on a powered boat. I went with Captain Tom Charlton, and we went inshore grouper fishing. Now on the West Coast, you usually have to go out pretty far. Here, we were east of the Skyway Bridge.
Wow.
Fishing in the channel, and had lots of opportunities for grouper. We probably caught 35, 40 fish. Kept two that were in the 27 range, big mangrove snapper. Unfortunately, flipper caught some of our bigger fish. I literally grabbed it and took off with it.
Wow.
And broke the tie knot between a 100-pound braid and 80-pound leader.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So stop feeding them.
Do they, I'm down in the Keys. I've had this experience a couple of times where the barracuda will follow the boat. Mm-hmm. They know you're pulling up fish and they'll follow the boat. Do dolphin do that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And they're getting worse about it. I saw a lot of babies out there. Uh-huh. So the moms and the bulls are sitting there teaching the next generation of dolphin how to do that. Yeah. And that all stems originally from people feeding the dolphin. They associate them getting food with the boats and the motors that come by.
Wow. I never thought about that.
Yeah, please don't.
Yeah, they're very bright. They're very smart. I don't think there's any question about that. And so giving them fish, absolutely. The sound of the motor and the fish, and they put the two together and they hear the sound of the motor, they go follow the motor.
Exactly. We moved 4 times.
Wow.
And the same pod found us.
Wow. Yeah. Now I've had a similar experience in the Keys with barracuda, where we moved several times, and this booger would follow us, and we'd pull a fish up, and the only thing you'd have was the head. It had taken care of everything else for you. So we were like feeding this barracuda. We'd pick up lines and we'd move, and son of a gun, we'd pull up 2 or 3 fish, and then the next one coming up, another head.
Yep.
So we knew that he or she had followed us to wherever we had gone. So that's kind of irritating.
Yeah. We nicknamed sharks the tax collector because every now and then you've got to throw one back, but dolphin are the CPAs. You're going to get in a lot more trouble with a bad CPA, I think, than you are the tax collector.
Wow. I mean, they are very amazing mammals. They are mammals. They're not fish. They're very smart. I always have a good feeling when I see them, unless I'm fishing, because my experience is like I've been offshore, miles offshore, and we run into a pot of fish. I know right off the bat, we're not going to see anything. It's particularly for fishing for dolphin, mahi dolphin.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to see anything for a while. We better pick up the lines. We better book. Just go, get as far away from them as you can. Have you experienced that as well?
Inshore, not so much. Inshore, they'll chase mullet, but the nice thing about if you see them, then you know that there's actual fish in that area, and it's a great area to fish. So I just wait about 15, 20 minutes until they're gone, 15, 20 minutes after they're gone, and those fish will return back to that area.
Yeah. All right, well, it's that magic time again, so don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going anywhere. We'll be right back. It's the Fish Florida Show with Pam and Riskella.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riskella. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high-quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer, and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
Hi folks, I'm Roger from Rogers Gotcha Motoring. If you need a local auto repair shop, Rogers Gotcha Motoring will take care of all of your automotive repair needs. If you need something as simple as an oil change or as complex as an engine overhaul, I have the latest in technology and the knowledge to get the job done right. We've been servicing Pinellas County since 1994 and are conveniently located at 3700 5th Avenue North in St. Petersburg, Florida. If you need service, call now at 727-327-1830 or visit my website at www.rogersgotchamotoring.com or like my Facebook page at Rogers Gotcha Motoring for a complete list of all of our services. So come on over to Rogers, that's me, and get your car service today. And don't forget to shop and support local business. Call now to book your appointment at 727-327-1830. That's 727-327-1830, or swing on by.
Que Pasa Mexican Cantina is where friends and neighbors come to connect, share, and celebrate one another in a festive, casual atmosphere. Offering rich, robust flavors of authentic Mexican cuisine, we use only the freshest, finest ingredients. We chop and dice, season and blend, and then cook everything we serve to perfection. One thing that makes Mexican food even better is one of our delicious Best of the Bay margaritas. Our signature series of margarita flavors range from our sweet and fruity mango and strawberry to our hot and juicy jalapeno margarita. Having a busy meeting or getting together and looking for Mexican food? Try our Fast Fax form. It's an easy, fast way to order your favorite Mexican food. We have special platters and layouts for any occasion. The form is super easy to fill out, fax, email, or just call it in. Whether it's here in the restaurant, in your home or office, at Que Pasa we celebrate bringing people together. Que Pasa Mexican Cantina, 10478 Roosevelt Boulevard North Street in the Gateway Shopping Center, 727-330-3663 in St. Petersburg. It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. on the WDBF Radio Network. And now, your host, Riscala Stevens.
Well, good morning, everybody. If you're just joining us, the last segment of the show, and you have missed quite a bit of information. So if you want to hear the show again, we do replay the show at 3 p.m. and at various times during the week as well. So you can always catch us later in the day. If you don't catch that, you can always find our archives. Our archives are located on YouTube. We do have archives located on YouTube as well as thefishfloatashow.com. Anything that you missed, you can always go back and follow up on. And we have spoken about some very important things this morning. The conservation of our waterways, probably one of the most important subjects that we have discussed on this show, with the ability to protect our resources. And, you know, you only have it once. Once it's gone, ladies and gentlemen. It's, we've talked about how the reefs are being damaged. We've talked about how the fish are being killed. Like I said, once it's gone, and we want to do whatever we can to preserve it. So this morning, I am coming to you from Clearwater. I have the honor and the privilege of being in the studio with Captain Hook. I also have the honor and the privilege of having with me Pam Worth, one of the top female kayak anglers here in Florida. Always brings a unique perspective to the table, and I am very honored to have her on with me as well this morning. Good morning, Miss Pam.
Good morning. Thank you so much. And I feel bad. We stole Captain Hook's mic, so he's sitting there trying to hand signal.
He's over there when you have a horse and what do they call it? Something at the
biting the bit. Yeah.
Oh, well, anyway, we're going to have Dennis on here with us in a moment. Dennis is one of our locals. He's going to tell us a little bit about what's going on in fishing that's happening in his area. He's down in the Boynton Beach area, and he'll be sharing with us what's going on down there. So good morning, Mr. Dennis, and thank you for calling in, sir.
Good morning, Riscala. Good morning, Pam. How are you?
Good morning, sir. Great. It's finally sunshiny here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's shining here too for the moment.
So I know that you are literally right on the bay there. How's it look?
It's going to be a great few days to get out in the water. Right now it's the southeast and the winds are 5 to 10.
Wow.
Speed's around 2 feet, and it's going to be that way for, well, a few days. The wind might switch around to the northeast, but still, it's going to be 5 to 10, and speed's around 2 feet. So it's going to be a perfect holiday weekend to go out and fish.
Well, I want to tell you, I don't know if you heard me earlier, but Pam on her way in this morning was admiring how smooth the water is. So we've got it over here as well. It's very calm.
It's a beautiful day.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You can get out there, and, even in a kayak today, you can get out there, right?
Absolutely. Boynton is one of my favorite places to fish offshore. I've gone out there with Brian Nelly with Pushing Water Kayaks, and you just have a beautiful fishery out there.
Wow.
Well, the nice thing about Boynton is that in a short distance, you have a drop.
Yep.
You know, so in a quarter mile or less, you're in 300, 200 feet of water.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What have they been catching out there?
I mean, the tarpon are in.
Nice.
I've seen them even in intercoastal just rolling around. So it's tarpon time. Live crabs or blue runners, good. The dolphin bites has been pretty good, but you know, they're in like the 4 to 8 pound range. You know, the big ones haven't been in. You just have to get offshore.
How far out?
Sometimes as far as 20 miles.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. We've got a huge amount of weed lines out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just a matter of getting out and finding them. So also mangroves are going in about 40 to 80 feet of water off of North Palm Beach.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really not bad. You just have to get out and find that clean water. I know we've been talking about the water quality this morning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And even right by our dock and everything else, we have the spillways from all of the canals.
Uh-huh.
So it's pushing all that fresh water full of algae. And it just dies off and starts rotting in the intercoastal. In fact, I was on a dock yesterday, and one of my neighbors came up and said, "What kind of are those like little squids floating dead?" I'm like, "No, that's all algae bloom."
Wow.
So it's, you know, the water's black in the intercoastal. full of the algae. And that's not from Lake O, it's just from the canals.
Mm-hmm. Just from all the rain we've had?
Yep. Yes.
Now, I want to go back. I want to go back a second, Dennis. Your opinion is the algae that we're seeing is not from the drainage?
No. What my opinion is that I believe that they finally tested the water and came up with some of the bacteria that's in there. And the latest what I've heard is it's not from any chemicals from industry, because those chemicals have been banned.
Mm-hmm.
What they're finding is that it's runoff from septic. And
so it's
the building in Florida, north of Lake Okeechobee, it's a lot of septic, Orlando and everything else, and everything drains into Lake O. So now, because Lake O doesn't have enough septic to support the amount of bacteria that's in the water.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not developed.
Yeah, but we've taken away some of those filter areas, though, with the canal system.
Well, I know that. I know that. The water needs to be pushed south through an ecosystem. It can't be diverted into the ocean.
Yeah, it can't.
It needs to go through the Everglades.
Yeah, it can't be set straight into the canals, and that's why.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it isn't chemicals, it's us basically. But again, there's no
it's
filter
run
system.
out from lawns and everything else and septic.
Growing up, I've shared this many times. We used to go down to we have saltwater. I grew up in Coral Gables, small town inside of Miami. We had saltwater canals, and I would go to the canal and we could catch just about anything that you could imagine. Snook, anything, barracuda, red snapper, grouper, even grunt. And I've noticed over the years, and again, you mentioned about the drainage going right into the canal from wherever, from streets or wherever. I have went back to visit that several years ago. I was almost in tears. It was disgusting what I saw. I don't think I would pee in that water. It was so gross. So a lot of this is happening from the drainage. We're getting stuff from water literally off of the street going into the canal. The canal is draining into the ocean. These are things that we really need to speak up about. We've got to find a better way to deal with this, because it's not helping us, and it's only helping a small group of people.
Well, I think sometimes our planning is short-sighted. I mean, nobody wants flooding. I mean, in the Tampa Bay area, we do have a problem with flooding in low lying areas, and a lot of Florida was built on swamp.
Yeah.
So it is low. It's not as low as Louisiana. But short term was, let's get this water off the roads. Let's get it out of people's backyards. And the easiest thing to do.
It's got to go somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. So, in my humble opinion, they need to push that water south and have it through an ecosystem, through marshlands and the Everglades, so it can filter itself before it hits the ocean.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. I mean, we have the problem of the water because of building codes. And I say this because I have a friend who lives up in Palm City in a affluent neighborhood, and they're still on septic.
This is something that we discussed a while back. I don't know if I discussed it with you or if I discussed it with Robert, but he was, I think it was Robert, was telling me that so many homes are being built with septic systems instead of sewer systems because it's cheaper.
Because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're back to the profit thing.
That's the start of the problem.
Yeah.
But, the water has to flow south. It has to go through an ecosystem to filter it. And that's my opinion.
I think that was the way God intended it, right? I mean, isn't that the way it was before we got our fingers into it? Isn't that the way it worked?
Right.
What they call that, the living grasses?
Yeah, that's right. Living grasses, that's right.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
But also, what I'd like to speak about is also some little boat safety, not as far as your craft. But I have a friend, and they ran across the Bahamas, and they caught a huge amount of fish. So he had a little cut on his knee. So he's on the deck, and he's repacking the ice, and he's rubbing around and all the blood and the guts, and so all of a sudden his knee swells up.
Fish poisoning.
All right, so now he's on his 4th round of antibiotics because it's a bacterial infection. Now he's in the hospital. They cut it open. They've drained it. He's in the hospital for 2 days.
Oh.
So my thing is I always carry a spray bottle of bleaching water. And I always clean my deck. And if it's bloody, I spray a little bleach water and wash it down with salt water. Little things like that can really keep you out of the hospital.
Good point. Good point. I carry peroxide with me too.
Not too many people think about it.
Yeah.
I didn't.
But it really is a safety factor.
Of all the times I've ever been out on my boat, when I had my boat, I never thought about anything like that. Mm-hmm. That never occurred to me. And you're right. Some of the bacteria is really nasty. Really, really nasty. The fish can handle it, but the humans, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Right. So just a little tip of the day. A little bleach and a little water goes a long way, in my opinion.
Yep. Little bleach. Well, let's put that out. I don't want to see anybody pouring straight bleach on their boat in the intercoastal.
No. I think it's like a 10% mixture.
Yeah.
10 to 1.
Yeah.
10 parts.
Just a little bit,
part.
Yeah. Just a little bit in a spritz bottle so you can just put a little, solution down and then rinse it off.
That's a good point.
Because
those
you have to take care of bacteria.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those Bosch and Lomb little pads that you can use to clean your glasses with?
Yeah.
I always keep a couple of, first of all, they're individually sealed. You can get them at Walmart for like next to nothing. Mm-hmm. And they're also good for first aid when you're especially cutting braid, or if you're tying braid or tying mono to braid and you get that little braid cut.
Yeah.
Open one of those up. They're basically alcohol, and it makes a real easy, quick
clean.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's probably the most important part is as soon as it happens, you clean it off instead of waiting. I think waiting would make it worse.
Yeah. Well, good tip.
And I just want to give a shout out to Victoria that she's doing a fantastic job with all new projects and marketing and branding it for Fish Florida. And we have an exciting future coming forward.
We're getting ready to
doing a fantastic
launch.
Job.
We're getting ready to launch, right, Dennis?
Yep, pretty soon. It's coming up. We're expanding into the TV network market of
so
our next step.
Going to have, if all goes well, we will have the Fish Florida show on television. So we can't be sitting in here like we are this morning. Captain Hook, you need to put
one
your
more
clothes
before
on.
I forget. The other shout out I have is for Captains for Clean Water. You can Google them. It's an organization who has the interest of the waters at heart.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to Washington. They're getting in front of legislators. So they're doing everything they can to help the water quality in Florida.
Yeah, but Pam had mentioned them just a little while ago.
Right.
Captains for Clean Water.
Correct.
Yeah, and they're not a radical, like I said, they're not a radical group. They're not a bunch of kids throwing their arms up. These are people that basically have been generations in Florida.
Yeah.
I know conch is a Key West term, but these are good old boys. And, if they're that concerned, we need to be pulling our hair out.
Yeah,
exactly.
Open your eyes and your ears. If they're that concerned, there's a good reason behind it.
Exactly.
They have, like I mentioned to you earlier, growing up, we'd go down the canal, we'd go fishing, we'd catch whatever we want. It's no longer like that. I would love to see it go back to that again. It didn't, we didn't have video games, we didn't have all of this technology to get in the way. We went out and we enjoyed what God had provided us, and that was the ability to go fishing, catch dinner sometimes, I had no problem eating the fish out of the canal. I wouldn't do it now, but I had no problem back then. The water was clear. You could see, so there were some places in the canal where it's only about 10 feet deep, and the water was so clear you could see the bottom. Can't do that now. It's all cloudy. It's just not very good looking.
And the other thing I have to say is don't forget that mini season is coming up, so get prepared.
Yes, mini season. That's lobster season. Yeah. Well, Pam won't be able to do a whole lot of that because she's in a kayak. Unless we sink the kayak somehow.
Plus, there's not a lot of lobster around this side.
Turn the kayak into a submarine or something like that.
Yeah, we do scalloping over here, not lobstering.
Oh my. Well, Dennis, thank you for taking the time to call in, and thank you, Victoria, because all of this would not be possible without the help of Victoria, who has developed the Fish Florida app, which is a free download. You can find that on any of the stores. Dennis, we appreciate you taking the time to call in. God bless you, sir. Wish you a wonderful day, and I look forward to speaking with you again real soon.
All right. Thank you both. I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you,
my friend. God bless.
God bless you. Bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're just winding down. It's the last couple of seconds here of the show. I want to thank each and every one of you who take the time to listen in. I want to thank Pam, my co-host.
My pleasure.
Thank Captain Hook for doing his thing. Of course, he had a tough time this morning because he couldn't say anything. But it has been an honor and a privilege to be with you. We'll look forward to being with you again in a week. God bless.